Welcome back, everyone, for episode 2, season 2, here on the 121% podcast. For this episode, we are welcoming back Gavin from last season. And of course, from last episode, everyone got to meet the lovely and talented Deborah.
Hello.
So, welcome back. So today's topic is kind of an interesting one. We decided to do some market research, and we went to one of the largest groups for Facebook real estate mastermind groups, and asked a very simple question. What's that one thing that other real estate agents do that just drive you crazy, that find your last nerve and stomp their dirty hooves all over it? And, I was expecting a couple responses, but we cleared over 500 responses in about an hour. And ultimately ended up about 1,000 responses.
This triggered something.
It was definitely a trigger moment.
A lot of agents upset out there.
Yeah, we definitely, there's an industry for counseling in our industry. But the reason, we did it, and actually a couple people got, kind of gruff with me, why I was focusing on this. And it was actually, if we can understand what drives other agents crazy, maybe we can be more respectful. Maybe we can be more open-minded, and
we can make things better.
We can make we can make the real estate world a better place, because heaven knows we have enough challenges that we don't need to be creating internal challenges as an industry. So we came up with our top 8. It's the top 8. This is not in my order. This is based on the comments. A couple of these, I'll be honest with you, there were some diverging opinions on. So inside some of these 50-50 splits. So I don't know how you settle that one. Just do what you do. But so let's dive into our list, our top 8 things that real estate agents do that drive other real estate agents crazy. The first one was years in the business. When you're working with an agent and you ask a question, or you're not, you kind of know the answer, or you're asking why they're doing it this way, and then the answer is always not, because that's the law, or that's the code, or that's how it's supposed to be done. I've been doing this for a certain number of years, and that's how I've always done it. And it's almost used as a weapon.
It is.
Yeah.
I had an example, a good story. This is one that irks my last nerve. This is one of my biggest pet peeves, especially when they use that to kind of bully newer agents. I was working with a deal. The buyer's agent sent us an offer, and it was on, in Florida, we have 3 contract forms we can use, and each of them have to have their specific writers or addenda used. You can't just willy-nilly do things. And in this case, it was an FHA writer or FHA offer, so we needed the FHA VA writer. Yep. Well, we didn't get the writer that was supposed to be attached. It was some random Word document. So I asked the agent, because I don't like to go back and hey, you used the wrong form. I need you to send the right form. I'm more like, hey, I noticed that you didn't include the standard form. Try to lead them down the path so I'm not being as confrontational. And she's like, well, yeah, how she put it? Yeah, I've been using that for years. I'm like, yeah, but I've just never seen that before. I thought we had to use the standard form. Well, I've been doing this for 40 years, and I've never had a problem. I said, so you've used this form before for 40 years. She goes, hundreds of transactions, and it's never been a problem. I'm like, well, my problem is at that point, since I'm running up against this, is that, I said, man, the issue is that, then I asked her where she got the form. She wrote it. She admitted to that. I said, but are you an attorney?
So not an attorney.
Not an attorney. I said, unfortunately, we need the approved form. And just as a courtesy, this is a felony, what you're doing. And you've just admitted to hundreds of felonies in the state of Florida. You're not an attorney. You can't draft terms. And again, weaponizing, I've been in 40 years. You're just this. And so, have y'all had that? Have you experienced that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. They usually use it to really strong arm because they are trying to intimidate the other agent. Well, you haven't been in business as long as I have, and I know. Yep. And since I know, that's the way it is. And that's the way she was.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the way she was.
I tell our newer agents, as a general rule of thumb, if an agent tells you I've been doing this for a blank number of years, that means they don't know what they're doing.
That's true.
So, and not to be intimidated by that, because that's the reason for it.
Generally an excuse for not updating.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Not learning the new stuff that's out there.
Absolutely.
And this industry changes all the time.
Yep.
Yep.
So you have to
ever evolving.
roll with the punches. We've got a new one coming out soon with the contracts in Florida.
Here in Florida, we're getting massive changes. So, but my advice, I guess, for you guys as well, for agents out there, those words should never come out of your mouth.
No.
It doesn't matter how long you've been doing in the business. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the business, how long you've been doing it. None of that. You have people who have are new in the business, and they've just finished all their education. They've gone through their training. They're probably a little bit sharper on some of this stuff.
They should be.
They've just
Right,
learned all
they
the latest
should be.
stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For some of us, as you do things longer, and this is not just in real estate, but in any business, you may start to stray from the path. And then it just becomes habit, and before you know it, you forgot what you were supposed to be doing, and it's become that accepted practice.
You've got away with it for a while.
Yeah, and then in your mind, it's not even intentional. It's not like you're intentionally doing it wrong. So be more respectful. Just partner with that other agent instead of trying to intimidate through, I've been doing this for X years.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been doing this for 39 years. So
I've been doing this for 39 years.
Yeah.
I do know better, because things change rapidly all the time, especially when it comes to contracts. I always have to look to see what the agents have done and haven't done on these contracts, what has been written that they've done, and not assume anything.
Yep.
You can't. And, we have heard it a lot about the agents have been in the industry a long time. And God bless them, they are used to their little pathways.
Mm-hmm.
They are gone down that rabbit hole. They haven't updated. They haven't gotten anything current. And that is really what's doing it. I do know better, because I know if I don't keep current, I'm 6 months behind by the next week on everything we do. And you have to stay current in this industry.
So rely on continuing education.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying the CE courses your state requires. I'm talking about you as an agent continually learning every day. Like for me, I have an hour every morning that I focus on learning, whether it's listening to an audiobook, reading a book, reading trade publications, seeing what's going on in our industry, what's going on with the Federal Reserve, all these things that are everything's fluid. Nothing in our business is static.
Yeah.
So we have to stay on top of it. And then also, I owe it to our agents to make sure that we're sharing that information. If something's important, we get it out there as quick as we can, or maybe we incorporate it into training. So, for example, with the fire bar changes coming up, we're bringing in the attorney and doing a lunch and learn. We're going to have a big workshop at the end of the month to make sure everybody understands it. And it's so important. And then it goes back to on the brokers. For us, if you don't attend the workshop at the end of the month, you will not be writing offers under this brokerage until you can come demonstrate to us you fully understand the contract.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But I promise you that's not going to be similar.
It's not across the board that way with the other brokerages.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people very uneducated in this business that just because they got a license, they think they can get out there and raise havoc now.
And I also say it's I just lost my complete train of thought on that one.
I think one thing that I always think, and always is in the back of my mind, is liability, all the time. And that's what I'm always thinking. Even when an agent will ask me a question about something, I'm like, well, do you think you might be maybe liable if you did something that happened with that? So, that's always in the back of my head. Always in the back of my head.
Absolutely.
All right, so number 2 on our list is communication, and there's actually a couple different subtopics on this one, so I just rolled it up into one gargantuan communication, but we're talking about agents not answering phones, not returning voicemails, not responding to emails, not responding to offer submissions, except having a situation where there's been multiple offers received, the seller picks an offer, the other agents aren't being told that they're no
First
longer
time you
running.
See it is on the MLS.
You find it out through the MLS, which is frustrating because you have buyers waiting. But also, so that's kind of on the lack of side. But the flip of that is the too much side. When you have, you've taken the time as a listing agent to put all the attachments in. You've got all the public remarks there. You've given all the details that they need, and they call you for...
You've written out very plainly in the realtor remarks exactly what you need, and
Or calling me to ask me to break the law. Like today, I've had 3 people. How many offers have you received? What are they? And
how much are they?
How much are they? I'm like, my response has been, as I'm sure you're aware, pursuant to Florida Statute 475, 455, and Florida Administrative Code 61J2, that would be illegal.
Did you just hit boo?
Please read your, the
MLS.
Oh.
This guy's been in the business 40 years.
Yes,
No, never mind. I was about I'm not going to do that. Take the high road.
Yeah.
Oh, take the high road.
So listing agents, I say some best practices. Make sure your listings are fully updated. Make sure that you have detailed public remarks, detailed realtor remarks, all your showing everything is good. You have all your attachments you need. That's going to help. And then in return phone calls. And even if you're a listing agent and you have 30 offers and you're going to accept one, obviously, seller's going to pick one. Just have a template. Like you can, in most Gmail, it's free. You can do templates for free in Gmail that says, thank you for your offer. The seller has decided to go with a different one. Have a wonderful day.
By this time, I've got a buyer who's so frustrated from not hearing anything.
Yes.
I don't even need that politeness. I just need, sorry, it's under contract.
Under
That's all I need.
Just get it out there,
just
though.
give me something.
What I'm saying, you do a template one time, and it's good forever.
Yeah.
And then just BCC everyone as your offers come in, add them on a list. So whoever doesn't get picked, copy, paste it into BCC, click template, hit send. It literally will take you 30 seconds to do.
Yeah.
And you can do it with a little politeness.
Exactly, yeah.
Come on,
no, that's the way I do it. I'm saying, if I'm hearing back, I don't care. I just want to hear something.
I mean, you've been in America too long. You're
getting very jaded here.
I know, sorry.
That pleasant British is fading on you.
I know. It's been a while.
But, politeness on this, you want to be responded back to when you're the buyer's agent waiting for that response. Understand, when you're the listing agent, be the same way. Make sure you do respond back. And so what it takes 2 minutes to respond to 20 people. Really, this is easy. Please do that because you're going to want the same treatment going forward.
It's the absolute minimum you can do. I mean, it'd be nice if you called everyone. We get in this market, you can't because there's so many. But the absolute least you can do is to send a flippin' blankety blank email and BCC everyone. It's not rocket science.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And it goes a long way to build your reputation. Because for like it or not, the next time that buyer's agent might have a buyer who's interested in a property, they may tell that buyer, hey, just FYI, my history with this agent is very, problems with communication. You may lose out on offers on future properties.
Yeah.
So don't focus on today, focus on tomorrow and your personal reputation, but your reputation as a
treat others as you'd like to be treated.
Absolutely.
The golden rule?
The golden rule.
Golden rule.
Oh.
Exactly.
What our ethics course is based on?
The relentless gold rule.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. All right, so our next one, number 3, is MLS information and data. So incomplete data. I even put on here deceptive data.
Deceptive.
Yes. So things like bad pictures.
We can rant about bad pictures.
Oh, bad pictures is a good one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So obviously there was a FSBO just hit the news, or is making the rounds on social.
The FSBO is amazing.
That FSBO how did you describe his attire?
He was Donald Ducking it.
So if you're not familiar with Donald Duck, just go ahead and do a Google search for Donald Duck and look at his attire.
Basically,
he just had a shirt on, okay?
Shirt, no pants. Shirt, no pants.
I always gonna let them be a little like
figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, but okay.
There were some great pictures. That guy was obviously.
I wouldn't say they were great.
Well, they were great for comedy value, but it was.
Well, he was.
If that's what you're looking for, Bo, go ahead. I mean. So you just opened yourself up for that one.
In the mirror, okay, right? The mirror.
Actually, I want to see more like that. I want to see.
More.
Yeah.
But,
it was amusing.
So when it comes to photos, even in a market where you're moving property fast, hire the professional photographer. Make sure it's HDR photos. Make sure you're getting photos of the amenities. Make sure you're getting the drone in there, showing the area.
Make sure you're wearing pants.
Wearing clothes. Don't be in the video.
You typically don't have that problem with professional photography, and don't be a FISBO.
Yeah, look for reflections, please.
But your photos are your first line of marketing for your house that you're listing for that seller. They should be stellar. They should be awesome. That seller should be able to look at your listing and go, "Oh my God, you did such a beautiful job for me."
Well,
that's the pictures you need.
We did Jody's house, and after she looked at the photography from Daniel, she's like, my house looks even better in your photos than it does.
Yeah.
She's like, wow, the way he, it makes it feel. So just take that time, and more important, not more important, but long term, think long game.
Yes.
It's important for that seller, but it's also important for your future business
Yes.
because other sellers are going to be looking at what you've done in the past to determine whether or not they want to hire you. And if it's between two agents and one shooting with the iPhone, as good as the iPhone is, because I love the iPhone, and one shooting with professional photography.
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid, if you're shooting with a Samsung, you're definitely going to lose.
No resolution there.
We're Apple around here.
Yeah.
But just, it's worth it. Think about it as an investment in your future business.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And as a brokerage, as a broker should require it. And we do here. And we have it in-house so we can give our agents a discount because it's our reputation for other agents. So even think about that. If you're an agent and you're doing bad photos, it's under the brokerage. That reflects poorly on every agent in your office. And that's not cool. You got to think about that.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, also not including the attachments. Make sure you have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in Florida, we have these things called associations, HOA associations, condo associations. I mean, they're everywhere, right? But we are the king of it. And make sure you have all the appropriate documents that you need in there from the restrictive covenants, reserve studies, budgets. Give them everything they need so that you don't, as a listing agent, have to worry about later a deal falling apart because they finally got the docs.
Absolutely.
They reviewed something and they bolt.
Make your life easier.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Do you want to get an offer in on a property? You say yes, and then you're like, right now I've got to get all these documents together.
My favorite is like check other listings in the area. In that same building, typically somebody has the documents.
Somebody's done it
Somebody's
for you.
got the documents. Yes. Yeah.
Like, if not, tell the seller can always get their documents for free.
Yes.
It costs the buyer money, or if they can even get them. Yeah. So it's important.
Yeah. Make sure they're filled out too. I've seen documents online. Oh, I got the attachments, but the seller hasn't even signed them. They're just blank documents sitting there.
Those do no one good. And on seller property disclosures, I don't care if you've never lived in the property.
I was just about to say that. That was on the tip of my tongue.
Like
you do know about the property.
You do know about, and if I'll let an attorney address the legalities of it, but you just strike through and say, I never lived on the property. Well, if it's in an association. You know if there's liens on the property.
There's certain things you know.
Yeah. And then that's why there's yes, no, and don't know. But don't know.
Yeah.
And, we had our attorney draft a term that goes in our contract that they agree they're going to fill out that form in its entirety. So if you'd want to check don't know, go ahead. But that will be used against you in a court of law if something comes up and we can prove you did know or you should have known. Right? Let's just be, and agents, if your seller is that deceptive that they're not willing to properly fill out the form, agents, you have to make a decision of ethically whether or not you want to work with that type of customer, because that is an equal reflection on the ethics of the listing agent.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And that can be deemed that way in front of a judge.
I'm sure a good attorney can make it.
A good attorney can
make that argument.
Yes, absolutely. And it's just amazing how much we see of those out there. And there's a lot of investors trying to flip homes now, but that's still no excuse. They do know what they've done. They do know when they bought the house, what the condition was, what the age of the roof was, everything. The permits are online. They can pull their own permits.
But like one of the is this an HOA? If you know this, and if you don't know it, you
haven't been paying dues.
No, exactly. We see it more too often.
We do.
That's why we built the term and had the attorney. We had to kind of find a way to combat that.
Yeah.
And for a buyer, it's very dangerous for them to go into something and not have information. You look at the deal that happened out, I think it was in Spring Hill, where the couple bought a house. It turned out that the agents and the seller all knew there was a sinkhole under the house. They collected insurance money. None of that got disclosed.
Wow.
You know, and those agents are now getting a complimentary stay at the,
So
the
not
federal
agents
pen.
anymore.
They're not agents anymore.
No. And so did the sellers. Sellers went to prison.
Yep.
Over that. Yeah, that's a big deal, and that was deceptive.
Scheming to defraud.
Yes.
Yep. Failure to disclose. Lots of things. So it's just the right thing to do.
It is.
So this next one, number 4, submitting offers to listing agents, either with everything, the contract and all the writers and disclosures in one PDF file, or every single one in a separate PDF file. I will say the majority of agents want it in one, based on our unscientific poll of 1,000 agents.
I suppose it depends how you do things. How you conduct your...
In this market as a listing agent, like when I have to send this for signature, now I'm having to upload all these documents. It's a pain in the butt. And the other is, if I want to be able to present them to the seller, I've got to merge them up and make it nice and pretty so I can present my 37 offers to the sellers, and it just makes it 10 times harder. And most systems, .loop, transaction, that's all. You have to go out of your way, and it's more work to download multiple files. So I'm in the camp of, give me one flippin' file.
That's right.
Don't send me all. I mean, this one had 18 different documents.
Yeah.
I mean, in one of the documents I was sent, instead of it was 3-page document, she actually separated.
What, all the pages?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a .loop thing. Because you can go ahead and when you put everything in under PDF, you can separate it up and then send it out. But why? Why? No, it's a real challenge. It needs to be one PDF.
So
keep it simple.
Again, so it seems like here on our panel, in our office we want one, right? But just be respectful, because this was one that was really split. It was probably about 65% want one document, the rest
I've
multiple.
seen it different ways.
Yeah, but clearly, right? But it was some of the conversations in the thread, I was like going, whoa, people calm down. Like, it's just a PDF file. Like, I get you have your preference. And so I guess my advice to agents on this would be, just roll with it. It's not worth getting angry and sending back some people say, I wouldn't present it if it didn't get sent as one.
You have to present it.
You have to present it. And if you have specific instructions, and if you want it as one, put it in the realtor remarks.
It's very simple.
We actually have that we have a document that we upload with every file. It's a offer submission checklist. It thanks them for showing the house and for submitting an offer. And we check which documents we need. So all the writers that we need for this file, and we ask, please, one file.
All in one.
That we just, but hey,
makes it easier.
We communicated.
That's
so
right.
then, it's annoying when they don't, but
it
is what it is. So that's number 4. Our number 5 item, I just put showing instructions. What's your biggest pet peeve?
When you click on it, says use Showtime button. Use Showtime button because you're thinking, I'm going to be able to book an appointment in here. And what does it say?
I know, amazing technology.
Yeah.
Call the agent.
Call the agent. And it's like why did you bother?
Yeah, you had to go out of your way. At least in our MLS, it does it. In our MLS, you have to. It's either check use showing time button or call a list agent.
Yeah.
Right? So you had to go out of your way to check that. You could have just checked the other one. It's like right next to it. So it's not like it's a lot of work. It's more characters to type or whatever. So, personally, I appreciate agents who leverage the tools and technology in the year 2021 to make our lives easier. With showing time, you can have the seller, if they want to approve listings, if it's occupied, they can click and approve it. It comes back to us, or go straight at that point, maybe just straight and approves it to the other agent. Like literally the house we have in Lakeland right now, the seller is approving it, so she knows when to be out of the house. Like I don't even see it until it's confirmed. And I'm like, okie dokie. And I just get it's showing confirmed.
Yeah.
I do nothing except go cha-ching.
Nice.
We're closer to an offer.
Yeah. Keep your life easier.
It makes
easier.
Everybody's life easier because it's faster because it's instant gratification versus you calling me then calling the seller, and then I go back and then you call, and by that point, and it's live, it's in real time. And for the record, for those that want to complain that the big Z bought them, who flippin' cares? Everybody I see whining and crying about it, and I'm going to get on a soapbox, I'm sorry. Well, they'll have more of my data. They already have more data than you do.
Yep.
They know more about your customer than you do. So stop it. Stop it already.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. It's a great tool. Your decision should be what makes put your customer first. Customer-based decision. What is the easiest process for your customer? That's what you should focus on.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And doing this whole manual round robin phone tree like party line stuff, no. Can you imagine back in the day when Dale first got started?
Oh man,
that rotary dial having to dial these numbers.
Kids these days don't even know.
Yeah, we had agents that had to call the office to get the key to set the appointment. The office would actually call the seller to set the appointment. That was a long time ago, but we've changed a lot. Go with the technology. I know it took half a day to get the house shown.
We had a great
one person.
Great podcast last season with Dale, like the evolution of real estate in Tampa Bay
Yes.
over 42 years in the business. It's amazing how they were able to get houses shown back with a horse and buggy. It was really impressive.
I know. It's true. You had books.
Books.
You had MLS books.
He actually has a map still.
And the map, yes.
With the
maps goes.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
So use technology. That the overarching response from agents was, yes, use the technology. Don't make me call you. Don't make me wait.
Read the realtor remarks.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can solve a lot of problems. Just read it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the showing instruction.
That's the showing instructions, but it's going to be on there.
Yeah.
The realtor remarks are going to show all the showing instructions.
Click the showing button. Agents use that. It makes everybody's life easier. It's instant gratification. You're able to confirm something with your customer. It's good for the buyer. It's good for the seller. It's good for both agents. Stop trying to make life harder for yourself.
Don't micromanage it.
No. So now my next item on the list on our countdown is feedback on showings. And this was a 50-50 a hodgepodge of anger. It was either I hate it when people don't leave me showing or feedback, or I don't want feedback. Don't send it to me. I'm never going to send it to the seller. Well, if you provided feedback, you need to provide that to the seller.
Yes, you do.
There's a we talked about it yesterday.
Yes, either good or bad, but
I'm in the camp of if I do get it, I'm going to pass it on. I'm copying and pasting verbatim because if it's bad, I don't want them thinking it's my opinion.
Yeah,
this is the text I received from the buyer's agent. Because if it's bad, I've had some bad feedback on some. I'm like, I'm not putting that in my own words. No.
Didn't like your house. It was a pigsty.
If they called it a pigsty,
yeah.
I mean, I'm literally highlight, copy, paste.
Yeah.
So my opinion is, I don't want to see it. I don't care. Like we all know, we should know as professionals. Yeah. If there's issues with the house.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't really care if it's the buyer didn't put an offer in because the house didn't face north or the bedroom 4 was too small.
Yeah, and I had one where the buyers put in that there was a spider in the corner of the ceiling.
Well, if there's a spider, I'm not. That is an acceptable thing for me. I would see the spider and be like, no.
Okay, so for most people, that's not a reason for not buying a property, but for you, that's I'm going to run and throw a grenade.
Well, most sane people would not buy it if there's spiders.
We're in Florida, though. We have spiders and snakes and all kinds of critters.
I'll deal with a gator, but I'm not dealing with a spider, okay? Like I used to tell when I was in the hotel industry, my pest control companies, keep the spiders, roaches, and snakes out. You don't keep them out, you're out. Any questions? That's my agreement.
Yep.
Yep.
Unless they're internal, I've got a great story.
Oh, Lord. Story time with Uncle Gabby.
Here we go.
Okay,
so I live in a condo downtown. And we've been living there maybe 10, 11 years now. This was in the first year we'd moved in. And for a start, the first 5 minutes we moved in, the fire alarm was going off. So that was always a good sign. But anyway, we're having construction done on the pool deck of the building. We live right on the pool deck. We're literally right there. So every single morning, 7 o'clock, the guys are out, literally outside our bedroom window, jackhammers, kicking up the pool deck, converting the whole thing. We at the same time we were having our air conditioning looked at. So in our bathroom we had a vent that was just hanging down a little way. It wasn't quite put back up properly yet, but we're like, well, whatever. So, we've got earplugs in because of the noise on the pool deck. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. The missus gets up just to use the bathroom. She can't shut the door for some reason. And it's pitch black. She hasn't turned the lights on. It's pitch black. Can't shut the door for some reason. She turns the light on and there's a snake.
Okay.
A snake.
Snake?
We're talking, this was I think they said it was a ball python.
Ball python?
A ball python. There you go. Ball python. So, I mean, these are domestic
They're
snakes. So,
no, they're not domestic snakes.
Well, they can be domestic, I suppose.
People keep them in aquariums.
Yes. So apparently we heard after this whole, but anyway, so she couldn't shut the door. I'll tell you the story about what we heard. But she couldn't shut the door. And she's screaming her head off in the bathroom. Sure. But of course, I've got earplugs in because of the construction that's going to be going on in the morning. So for a good 15, 20 minutes, she's screaming the place down.
You couldn't hear her.
I couldn't hear a word.
She was bad at you, wasn't she?
I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, my goodness.
Couldn't hear a thing. So eventually I stir and I wake up and she says, there's a snake. And I'm like, yeah, there's a snake. And then I fully wake up and see it. And I'm like, okay, right. My first instinct, go to the other bathroom, get a bucket, get that snake into the bucket. We're away.
How are you going to get the snake?
No.
How are you going to get the snake into the bucket?
How big is this snake?
This is a big snake. And I'm half asleep, but that was my rational mind at that point. So from the time it took me to get to the other bathroom, get the bucket, and get back, I'd already gone, yeah, I'm not going anywhere near that snake. There's absolutely no way. There's no way I can physically get that snake in the bucket. I'm not going anywhere near it.
So the snake is just looking at you.
It's just sitting on top of the door. Luckily, they're warm-blooded or whatever, so they don't like the cold. Or are they cold-blooded and they don't like the cold? Yeah. Okay, I don't know. I've never had snakes.
They're looking for warm spots.
So anyway, yeah, they look for warm spots. They like the warm. This was sitting above an air conditioner or by an air conditioner, so it was very cold. It was chilled. Probably having a little nap on top of the door.
Easier to catch.
Probably, yeah, exactly, but not by me. Not by me at that point. So yeah, so basically got back and pushed the door so the wife could run out.
She was in there the whole time.
So I'd rescued her.
So she's on the other side.
Oh, she's trapped in the bathroom because she's already gone in and tried to shut the door, and she can't. And by this point, she tried to shut the door, looked up, gone, and moved to the other side of the bathroom. Just moved way back.
Oh my goodness.
So eventually I pushed the door, she runs out, and then we spend the next, I think it was 2.5, 3 hours just staring at a snake because we couldn't get anybody from animal control to come over.
Okay, next time it's 911.
Well, no, they don't do that anymore. The fire service wouldn't do it anymore.
Not fire service, police, bring your gun. My wife is trapped and being attacked by a 400-foot snake. They'll come.
Yeah. So apparently this guy got evicted anyway. He had 4 ball pythons in his apartment, and he used to boast to the security guards that what he did was he'd put the dead chicks and mice and animals and stuff around the apartment or the condo and then he'd set the snakes free to go and find them.
Snakes on a plane.
So the moral of the story,
he had 4 go out one day and 3 came back.
Oh my God.
So the moral of the story is that if you're buying a condo in Florida, what you need to do is ask if you have shared ventilation with other units.
Yes.
And if they say yes, just know you
could have visitors.
You could have a slithery
friend. Yes.
And you still live there.
We still live there. We're still living in the same place.
Did you put like a mesh screen up over the vent? So
we make sure we shut that vent hard.
Okay.
That vent is closed, yes.
Yes.
And welded shut.
Wow.
As you would say, bless.
Bless.
Okay. Well, that's
but that's my snake story.
That happens though in vacant homes when people move out.
I did go into a foreclosure home once, and I'm like, there was no stove range, so something told me to look to the right, and as I did, the rattle started and the snake is cocked up, and I ran screaming like a 12-year-old schoolgirl out the front door, and I never returned to that property. I said, you know what, I just don't want the listing.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm good.
No, thank you.
No. Lock the door, put a note on that snake inside, and I left.
Yeah.
I legit put snake inside.
Burn.
Yeah.
Just burn it down.
Don't do it. This one, at least this one, that one would have like suffocated you and like constricted you and killed you. This one would have bit me and it'd been a miserable, painful death.
Had he not been so chilled out on top of the door,
I would have left the unit and locked the door. Like, there's a snake in there. Like,
oh no, we didn't want to lose sight of it. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah,
not taking your eyes off it, it
that's
disappears. Then you're like, "Where's the snake?"
Yeah,
well, that animal control can go find it.
Yeah.
When it comes out, you know where it's at. I'm not
sneaky.
No, they go find it. They know where it hides.
Yeah.
That's what they get paid for. Yeah. Anyway, so story time is over.
Okay.
And don't ever tell that kind of creepy story again. Ooh, Jesus. All right. So we did. I'm flustered.
Sorry, the snake have flustered you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Carry on.
Number 7, I think we're at.
Seven.
Yes, number 7, providing inaccurate advice. I'm trying to be political with this one. Providing inaccurate advice. I'm going to say incorrect advice. I'm going to say discriminating against VA and FHA borrowers.
I know.
The common thing I hear, and I see it in the threads all the time, is that, especially with VA, for whatever reason, VA appraisal came in low. First and foremost, there's no such thing as a VA appraisal, FHA. It's an appraisal.
It's just
there's an
appraisal.
FHA inspection element and a VA inspection element to those individual types of loans. However, they do not impact the market value of the home. Mm-hmm. Market value by definition. And if you think an FHA or a VA appraisal comes in at lower amounts, I need you to go back to your pre-license education for your state and retake the course and learn the definition of market value, because it does not matter. Nowhere in that definition, and it's a very specific definition, nowhere in it does it say blah, 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 but depending on if it's VA, we're going to do lower. No, nowhere in there to talk about the type of financing. But I mean, in Tampa, we don't have as big of a military presence here.
We do in Tampa,
because Patrick's out to the east and we have MacDill to the west. But Tampa, MacDill,
we see a lot of this. And when this year when the market changed so drastically, we were going all conventional because nobody wanted a VA, and it's like, why not? They're wonderful loans. They can still get financing. They can still bring money to the table if they have to, most of the time, many times. And it's a wonderful, wonderful type of loan. Same with FHA. There's no reason not to have them. The real issue that we face with right now is people don't have the extra money on FHA particularly, but VA, we have done several VA loans in Tampa. The sellers bought 10, 15, 20,000 to the table because they can.
So I mean,
so
your husband served 20 years.
Yes.
My dad served 30 years. Here's the deal. These are patriots. These are people who sacrificed a lot for our country. They were willing to put their lives on the line for our country. They are entitled to certain benefits. They are entitled to our respect. They are entitled to be able to use their entitlements from the VA loan program.
Absolutely. They have
and
absolutely
what they are not entitled to is ignorant agents.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, this is like
true.
Ignorant agents giving incorrect advice. One day, I pray a VA buyer doesn't get their offer accepted because of a listing agent being stupid and sues the ever-living hell out of that brokerage and that agent and takes them for everything they've got.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take a court case to knock some sense into these agents.
Yep.
And if you are a broker and you have agents doing this and they're still affiliated with your office, that's on you too.
Yeah.
If I ever caught one of our agents ever giving that type of advice to a consumer, to a seller, they would be out the front door of this brokerage so fast. I don't care if they're a multi-million-dollar producer or not. Mm-hmm. Ethics are ethics, and doing the right thing is important. So,
absolutely. And our vets absolutely deserve it. They absolutely do.
I mean, it irritates. Now, I mean, yes, with a VA and FHA, here are some of the things they look for. It has to have running hot water.
Oh, yeah.
It has to have working heat, not air conditioning, but heat.
Yeah.
It has to have a solid roof. It can't have wood rot, and it can't have any termite, damage. Yeah, you can't have exposed electrical wiring and
it's got to be structurally sound.
But
normally
structurally
it's
sound? How dare you?
I know.
And so not 9 times out of 10, if you can go for conventional financing, you're good.
Yeah.
And so if you're not accepting VA because there is a known condition to the home that will not pass FHA or VA, then that's one thing.
Yeah.
But because you think you have an uneducated, ignorant view of how appraisals work and what market value is, that's a whole different story.
It is.
And
absolutely.
I'll call you out every time on it.
Yep.
I don't give a damn.
I had a VA buyer with and the seller was actually a veteran, and they were so happy to take that offer. Mm-hmm. So happy to be able to offer their
give back
big time. So
we are able to do what we do every day in this country because of our veterans and our active duty. And anyone who provides such bad advice in a way that it's going to harm our veterans like this, you are the bottom of the scum bucket of humanity.
Yeah.
You're the worst kind of human.
Absolutely.
Sorry, just my opinion. Yeah. Soapbox off.
There we go.
So the last thing we'll talk about, number 8 on our list, is just overall there was a lot of comments about smaller issues, but collectively unprofessionalism and being rude. We kind of talked about it a little bit. There's so much going on. When we're working a deal, and yes, the agent is from a different brokerage, we're here together. We're here to, the buyer, the seller, the list agent, the sell agent, we all have the same goal, is to get the deal closed.
Oh, everyone does. The loan officer, the title company,
everybody.
So there's just no need to try to work against each other, to try to, it just doesn't need, it's not necessary.
It's not. We need to be kind to each other, because through that, you're going to be able to get your deals done so much easier.
Yep.
And if the other agent hasn't been trained and doesn't know enough, which is part of the issue. We have a lot of untrained agents out there that think they can just be rude because they don't know, so they're just going to be mean anyway to try and push something through. Take them by the hand and help them understand what they need and help them.
My experience has been most of the more unprofessional ones I've dealt with are the more experienced.
Yes,
the newer agents are around here, at least in Orlando, have been more eager to learn and so it's unnecessary. So
no, it's not. Yep. It's not, and it's just. But you're in this for long term. You're going to be dealing with the other agents.
Yep.
At other times.
Yep.
You'll see these people again.
You will. They'll become part of your real estate family, and you could squabble with them and not get deals done, or you can work together and get all your deals done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the top 8 top 8 reasons, things that drive agents crazy through our scientific, unscientific poll research. We spent no money on that, but we did ask. We spared every expense in doing it, but. I actually just expected to get just a couple ideas for inspiration, and it was like, okay, I touched a nerve.
Yes.
So there you go. Well, that's our episode 2 for us today. Thank you so much for listening. If you're on your favorite podcast app, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Don't forget, on those podcast apps, please leave us a review if you found this episode helpful and you enjoy listening to us. 5-star review, let people know what you think of it. Definitely helps us. If you didn't enjoy this episode, then there's an X at the top corner of your window. Yeah, it's fine. No, I'm just joking. And then, of course, if you're on YouTube, do us a favor. Give us 121%. Click on that subscribe button, and then click on that bell so that you can be notified when we post videos in the future. So thank you to Gavin for coming in and taking a moment out of your business and meeting with customers.
Always a pleasure for this subject.
That
was fun.
Gavin's like, when are we doing the next one? When are we doing the next one? So,
and also, if there's anybody out there who's got any other pet peeves, just leave it in the comments below. We might do a part 2.
You never know.
There might be enough for a part 2.
That works. Put in the comments below on YouTube. Send us an email. Let us know. So, Deborah, thank you so much for making the trip over from the great Tampa Bay area to join us for this episode. And thank you for watching and listening. So don't forget, hit subscribe, click the bell, leave us a review, and don't forget, every day, go out there, defy mediocrity, and give it 121%. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. Have a great day.